I mean, I have a car that I love that is so practical and functional for our life, my life. And I couldn't imagine spending $1,000 or more on a car unless it was like something real hype that I'd like dying to have. Like, are people just getting like a casual Yukon and spending $1,200 a month?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting better. I guess they're getting whatever they want, pretty much. That's what it seems like.
Well, every Mercedes SUV and Audi SUV is over $1,000 a month.
Yeah, I got
and you see
my
those
Audi
everywhere
a
on
while
every street.
back, and I don't pay near that. But I got
You
it.
got it before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now everything's over $1,000.
Yeah, for the same car, we'd be paying 40% more.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have some Audi deals under $1,000. So for those people that want to save, we got some deals under $1,000. We got a bunch of Audis that are at MSRP, under MSRP.
Yeah.
So right now is a
for
great
the
time.
SUVs are under $1,000?
For the smaller SUVs,
wow.
yeah.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat, and you will not believe the news that Ollie from Car Trackers has for us. Business is booming.
Business is booming.
It's like stimulus is being sent out again.
Loan rates are all-time highs. Past due payments are all-time highs.
And the Fed has come out and said he's raising rates, not a quarter. Looks like half basis point on the table. What to make of that, we don't know. And we just picked our winning company of the next decade. This is not financial advice, but holy shit, do we have a big, big leak here on Group Chat on what we think could potentially be game-changing. That and so much more. Let's get into it. All right, Cathies, we're back with another episode of Group Chat, and I got a headline for you before we get into today's episode. Used car prices are unseasonably strong right now. Cox Automotive on Tuesday reported wholesale used vehicle prices increased 4.3% in February from January, making it the largest increase between 2 months since 2009. Ali, what the fuck is happening here?
Do you know what's even more interesting? Average used car loan rates are at a record high of 14%. So the prices are all-time high and the debt's all-time high.
What's going on?
Honestly, it beats me. It's crazy. Market's been on fire ever since third week of January. Every week, the market's been going up. I think for the year, we're up like 7-8%.
Wow.
It's wild.
Your business is up.
Yeah, business is up. So
Which doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. So I was bracing for a rough 2023, honestly. And it's been it's been the opposite. So
and January and February, I think you told me months back that January is usually a soft month.
Very soft.
And then February, because of tax refunds, money starts.
February, dealers start buying a little early just to stock up for March. March is when it, catches fire. But this year it caught fire in January, which is like, it's never happened before. Every January, it's usually like it's like one of our worst months. And this January was like our best January ever.
How was December though?
December was fourth quarter. I don't even want to talk about it. It was
so could that be just a function of fourth quarter was so horrendous that like there's finally like an appetite to buy again?
I also want to point out a few more stats that I actually just randomly saw today in advance of you coming, so it was perfect. And it's a lot of what we talked about on the pod, how people are YOLOing in every aspect of their life. 15% of new car payments are above $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month is very expensive.
Yes.
25% of new cars are selling above $60,000. And then here's the YOLO part. It's the most past due car payment since 2009.
Fuck it.
Yeah, it's
everyone's YOLOing.
It's wild. So yeah, fourth quarter was really rough. Cars were, depreciating at record levels. Probably the worst time for us. It was like probably the worst time we were in business.
Wow.
It was that bad. It was a great time to get a deal. Anyone that bought in November, December, you can literally make money right now. That's how the market's flipped.
Wow. And so that's the used car market, right? So you have two parts to your business. The used car part, you saw that it was really challenging in November, December, and now you're seeing it rip. What about the new car market?
So the new car market, I mean, there a lot of companies have inventory right now, and you can get a lot of cars at MSRP or under MSRP. So there's still some good deals out there. There is some manufacturers that are still, or actually I would say still some dealers that are asking over MSRP, but it's coming down to earth big time.
And so is this trend that you're seeing in the used car market across all cars, all price points, like, or is it like?
Honestly, it's more of the affordable cars. I would say like cars that are under 40 grand is what's, I guess it's technically what's affordable right now. And that's what's really ripping right now.
That's crazy. And so, interesting enough, in December, I finally decided to get a car, or I started thinking about getting a car. So I reached out to you. I didn't really know what I wanted. I basically said mid-size SUV, and doesn't need to be anything fancy. And you gave me a handful of cars to look at. I think you said a Nissan Pathfinder. I think I said like GMC Acadia. I don't know, like a handful of cars. And I, obviously used your services at below invoice. You guys, I'm going to be honest, the process was so easy. I hadn't bought a car a very long time, and I don't remember it. I remember it being incredibly annoying and painful. And so I kind of gave you my budget, the kind of car I want, and you gave me options, and you said, if you want to test drive it, these are the locations you can go. So I settled on a GMC Acadia, which for those that don't know, it's like the car size below a Yukon. Is that the car? The big one? And then bigger than like a, what are those called? Like what's the low, like a RAV4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But it looks like SUV.
yeah, it's a big it's a proper 7-seater SUV.
3 rows.
Yeah. And good trunk space, good space, but it's not like, I can't have a big car because I live in West Hollywood. You can't drive it anywhere, like park at the grocery store. So this car is oddly narrow, and it kind of worked out great. So you're like, if you want to test drive it, you go here. So you connect me with your guy. And I said, all I have to do is just go there, and then they won't talk to me, nothing. He's like, yeah. So I pulled up. The guy had literally the door open. He's like, here you go. I'm going to hop in. Very minimal chat. Like, I'm not trying to chit chat. He's like, why are you interested in this car? First of all, he was just like, it's a pretty odd car for someone to call out and want. I'm like, I don't know. It just felt like the right car. I was like, I don't need to go far. I just need to do one lap. I literally drove for 4 minutes, got in, and then I texted you, great, let's do this. The next day, I think I had to fill out a credit app. The next day at my office, the car showed up. A really nice, friendly guy showed up, made me sign, 20 pages of docs. He said, do you want to know how to use the car? I'm like, not really. Like, I don't really care. Like, he was like, you should at least let me just take you down. And he goes, all right, this is how you do this. So you turn on. 5 minutes he spent with me on features. I'm like, dude, I don't really care. Like, just give me the basics. Like, how do you open the trunk? Did that. He left me alone. And then he was like, I got to text you about the OnStar, this, that. I was like, here we go. Texted me once. Hey, man, it's all set up. You're all good to go. No one talked to me ever again. Which in like my goal in life is to not talk to anyone and not have to deal with anything. Because life itself is busy enough. But I obviously didn't get a luxury car. So I didn't expect to get like, to me, what was a luxury treatment, which was car shows up, minimal communication. There was no back and forth negotiating, nothing. Here's the price. It was in my budget. Done. Amazing.
You know what's funny about human psychology? So if you think about the two biggest expenses you have in your life, it's where you live and what you drive. And that's the least amount of trial run you have with any of these purchases. Yeah. Like you said, we've all experienced.
How many cars are you going to buy in your life? 5?
Yeah, and you drive it around one block.
Yeah.
I did the same with whatever car we have. And then for people who buy houses and rent houses, you tour it once.
Yeah.
And it's your biggest expense. Whereas if you shop at, any e-commerce business, you're buying every different size, you're
Yeah,
trying it on, and then that's a
It could
fraction-
take you a month to make a decision.
Yeah.
There's shoes I've looked at for 6 months before I pulled the trigger, and they're $150.
right. It's weird, right?
It is weird.
That cars and homes, you have to trigger purchase.
Well, it's also
your
the
most
pressure.
expensive life.
It's also the pressure, right? The inventory moves, whereas like
The inventory moves and it's tough to find quality.
yeah,
Whereas for clothing or whatever other category, there's endless number of brands,
yeah,
so you can pick and choose.
yeah. If you don't get this shoe, there's another shoe. But like house, if you want this house, this is it. Or car, like within our process, I was moving slow because I was not paying attention to text messages. And he's like, "Oh, that car's gone." Okay, then I'm like, "All right, give me the next car." And then I'm flexible, so I was like, "Whatever." Oh, this one doesn't have, I don't know, sunroof or whatever. And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm not picky." But what's more shocking is, and I'll share like where my payment sits in the 600s range.
You got to get over 1,000.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I have a car that I love that is so practical and functional for our life, my life. And I couldn't imagine spending $1,000 or more on a car unless it was like something real hype that I'm like dying to have. Like, are people just getting like a casual Yukon and spending $1,200 a month?
Yeah, I mean they're getting whatever. I guess they're getting whatever they want, pretty much. That's what it seems like.
Well, every Mercedes SUV and Audi SUV is over 1,000 a month.
Yeah, I got
And you see
my
those
Audi
everywhere
a
on every
while
street.
back, and I don't pay near that. But I got
You
it.
got it before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now it's everything's over 1,000.
Yeah, for the same car, we'd be paying 40% more.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have some Audi deals under 1,000. So for those people that want to save, we got some deals under 1,000. We got a bunch of Audis that are at MSRP, under MSRP.
Yeah.
So right now is a
For
great
the
time
SUVs are under 1,000?
for the smaller SUVs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So Audi and Volkswagen, their programs have been horrible for the last 4 months, and just this month, they've kind of like come down to earth, and I've got some competitive rates out there right now, and we've already sold for the month. We've already sold like 4 or 5.
Wow. When you think about where the market is going, so if you're looking to sell a used car, you should sell it right now.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, D, I think on that GMC Acadia, I think you got like $6,000 or $7,000 off MSRP, and we could probably talk about it after the show about us buying that car back because that car's hot
I
right
can
now.
make money.
You could probably make money right now.
Wow.
But then you need a new car.
Then you need another car, yeah.
What the irony, you know what's funny is like it's actually a really great car. And you know when you buy a new car, then you realize everyone else has it. I buy this car, nobody has this car. Like I think they've sold one in our neighborhood. In like I literally never I see everyone with the Yukon, like the big one, everyone has those. This size car, for whatever reason, it's so practical. I just don't see them on the road. It's so funny. Someone walked up to me the other day. Was like, "What is this car?"
That is funny because you are right. There's this bias once you have the car. Like my first ever car, I got like that I personally paid for was an Audi A6,
Okay.
and once I got it, I was like, every single person has a freaking Audi.
Yeah.
You just drive around, everyone has an Audi.
Yeah, and I think that's even with my wife's car, which is an Audi. Like, I'm like, there's 3 kids at the school that have their parents have it. It's like, for whatever reason, this car nobody has.
That's funny.
It's really funny.
So what about the high end? What's going on there in the used car world or car world?
I mean, the high end's still soft. That's for sure.
Really?
Yeah, it's still
I
soft.
saw Tesla Model
it's
X.
soft off the highs. So
I saw Tesla Model X got a big price cut again yesterday.
yeah, huge.
So they're clearly, do they drive the luxury market now?
You know, it seems like it. So, you know, the Model X already in the last 6 months, they've dropped it $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's about 25%.
Yeah.
And then have you seen that happen in the high end Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, like that market too?
Yeah. Everything, all the high end stuff has been coming down. I mean, in beginning of January, we had G63s at sticker, which you
What
couldn't.
car is that?
That's the Mercedes G63.
Is that a G-Wagon?
The G-Wagon, yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, so
We only know hip hop terms.
Yeah.
so yeah, that G-Wagon was going for sticker, and now they're back up because that, you know, it's back up like 20-25 grand, but for a couple months they were going for sticker, and then some were going under sticker.
Wow.
So that was a great buy for whoever could get one.
Wow. And so I don't understand. Okay, the luxury market generally is soft. So that means the people driving the car market right now are middle class.
Seems like it, and then also people who are getting tax returns. They're the ones that are just going straight to the dealership and buying cars. So actually, dealerships will actually do your tax returns for you and collect the funds.
No way. Just to get you to buy.
Just to get you to buy, yeah. And
Oh
then
my
they're
God.
secure because the tax return comes straight to them.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's smart.
Wow. What the fuck?
And then to circle back to what you were talking about, used car values, this is definitely the best time to sell.
That's not just self-serving for you.
No. Honestly, fourth quarter of last year, we didn't want to buy cars. That's how rough it was because we didn't know what was selling. We would have made more money if we didn't buy cars. And right now, just to help out the Cathys out there, if you have an extra car laying around, you have a lease that's coming, it's coming due, this is the time to capitalize.
Because what's your faith in the next 6 months in the car market?
I think after the tax returns run out, I think we're going to see a big dip in pricing.
So that's May? June?
I'm hoping we stay strong until May, but typically tax season ends around May, June.
Got it.
And I think third, fourth quarter are going to be rough this year.
Wow. And so maybe it's just we're just delaying the recession. That's all we're doing. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk about everything. Every episode, we basically talk about the exact same dynamic that nothing's making sense.
Well, this used car market doesn't make sense at all to me. Because by the way, even when I was looking at cars, for like 15 minutes, I just looked at used car prices. It's so expensive. And then I looked at the new car price and I was like, I'll just get a new car.
Yeah, you can get a better deal on a new car right now than a used car.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
What are the deals on the new cars right now? Give us some deals.
So we have Toyotas that we're selling at MSRP, which for the last 2 years you couldn't get at least for like $3,000 over. Audis we're getting under MSRP. Hondas we're getting at MSRP, which is great. Almost every brand we're getting at MSRP. There's still a few that are tough.
What's like the hot car?
Anything affordable. Anything under $30,000 is what's hot right now. Those are selling, left and right nonstop.
Wow. Well, in the high end, what's a hot car?
Probably the G60, the G wagons. They're still hot.
That car will just never go out of style.
Gas guzzler too.
It's like 5 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, that's what's hot right now. Plus, it's it's a tax write off as well.
What happened to luxury sedans? I don't see them anymore. Like the S classes and the 7 Series, unless you order an Uber Black.
I think you went and got a Tesla or a Taycan.
Yeah, maybe. Is that consistent with what you see?
Yeah, S classes they were discounted almost $20,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a beautiful car too.
It is a beautiful car. Drives beautiful. It's one of my favorite, but seems like people don't really want them.
Yeah, you get the fanciest Tesla or you get a Porsche. Like there's just, if you're going to spend that much money, there's kind of sexier cars.
And I feel like, honestly, people with money, they're just waiting this out. They know that it's going to get worse. And that's in my opinion. They're not the ones that are spending. It's really, the middle class and the people who are getting their tax returns. That's who are like driving this market right now.
And do you think they're buying cars out of necessity or they're buying cars because they just want to spend money?
I think it's a necessity right now. Yeah. A lot of people have
They have to go back to work too.
Yeah, they have to go. A lot of people are going back to work. A lot of people are in repo status and they're trying to buy another car before their car gets repoed as well. So there's a lot of banks that are doing like special financing, or they know that you have a repo and they're still allowing you to get into another car, which makes no sense. That's never happened in the past.
So explain that dynamic.
So typically when I brought up in the pod before, when you are in repo status, it's hard for you to get a loan, right?
And repo status means what exactly?
You've missed like 3 payments. You're going in default and pretty much your car is on a repo list right now and can get towed at any time.
Yep.
So what's going
Who
on?
actually tows the car?
There's repo companies out there.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And the dealership can hire them.
The dealership, it's actually, the finance company will hire them.
The finance company hires them, and it's similar to being served like a lawsuit.
Exactly.
They can just take it.
They don't serve you. They just take your car. Like we've seen cars getting, taken in like the grocery stores, like at the malls, like the repo men are out right now and they're grabbing these cars and they're getting like extra commissions. Like I've seen Wells Fargo or different finance companies that have been paying like an extra $500 to retrieve a vehicle, which is record highs.
Well, because they can make money on the vehicle.
Yeah.
The financier knows that hey, this guy missed 3 payments. We can still make money if we just.
How do you become a
back.
repo man? Well, you just need a gun or something?
You need to be in the business for a start. You have to have
You
done
gotta be
repo
pretty
for.
tough.
Yeah, definitely have to be tough. It's
Because
not
I don't
an
think
easy
people are
business.
giving their cars away just passively.
No, it's tough. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to get into. I was thinking about it, but I was just like, you know what, I want to stay alive. And
Yeah.
I mean, you see the way people talk to parking ticket people.
Yeah.
And that's like $65. This
Yeah.
is you're losing your car.
Yeah. You're not giving out without a fight. So then definitely sell your car. And if you're in the market for a new car, there are deals.
there are deals. Yes,
Got it. So you'd buy a new car over a used car right now?
I would for sure.
Yeah.
The used cars are way too inflated right now. I wouldn't buy a used car right now. I would wait at least till after June or July to look into a used car,
Wow.
unless or else you're gonna be paying crazy money right now.
That's crazy. I just don't understand what's going
But
on.
I don't know if you guys saw Ford. They came out with a patent.
Oh, yeah,
on,
the repo.
on the repo. Yeah. So now they can be able to repo your car, by itself. They just press a button or something, and your car will just drive off and go straight to a
No
repo yard.
way.
Yeah. You
I
didn't
didn't see that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
kind of genius. I mean, the other feature is just lock the car up. Like, I
That's
think
what they should do.
yeah.
auto
So
lock.
that's another feature that they're coming out with. Either it'll keep beeping or it'll auto lock.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Beeping is not going to do it. No one's going to care if
No
the
one's going
car's
to care.
beeping.
I mean,
Play the
people
music
drive
louder.
with broken windows and,
Yeah.
all sorts of things.
The only thing with that is that's probably just gonna be another recall that Ford's gonna have to deal with. They're like the king of recalls.
Yeah.
All their
exactly.
cars are always in.
All the
always
cars
in
are start
service shop.
driving off. All right. So people want to sell their car. What do they do?
Just visit our website, the Car Trackers. You can hit us up on Instagram as well.
The car trackers.
The Car Trackers. Yep.
Okay. And then if they want to buy a new car, same place?
If they want to buy a new car, belowinvoice.com, or you could check out Instagram. We put up deals pretty much daily. So
I know it's fun to see the deals. So they're like, oh, that's a really good deal.
yeah, and they go quick.
I remember you showed me a big SUV. I don't remember what it was, but it was like $400 a month. It was on your Instagram.
Oh, the Highlander. Yeah,
Highlander.
That was the best deal. So we've actually been buying those cars back from the customers that bought from us.
No way.
We bought like about 3 or 4 back. We sold almost 18 of them in one day. So that was the best deal of 2022.
Wow. Damn, I should have hopped on that. Maybe I should just hop on these deals and just sell them back to you.
You just keep flipping.
Yeah.
Jump to car.
Like, how much money did the Highlander guy make?
So one of them made $4,000 because it was a nicer color combination, and the other people made like $1,500.
But from December.
Yeah, and that's on top of what they put down as well. So they got their down payment back plus they made some cash.
Fuck.
Oh, that's like 6 months of your payments. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 7 probably.
7,
yeah,
yeah.
6, 7. Yeah. God damn it.
You need Javier to get beyond this for you.
Yeah, I need Javier just flipping cars for me all day.
And you'll have a free car.
Yeah. Imagine if you just, every time there's a good deal, all he just tells us, we buy it and we sell it back to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. By the way, another thing I wanted to bring up is we're beating all CarMax Carvana offers. If you have a lease, we'll take your lease. There's a lot of closed leases, so there's a lot of manufacturers that they've seen that there's so much profit in these cars. They lock the leases where you can only sell it to a Honda or to either a Honda dealer or an Audi dealer. So we actually can buy those cars that we work with a few partners, and we're able to get you a good amount of equity. So just yesterday, we paid someone $8,000 equity on a Honda HR-V, which is wild. I mean, their payoff was $11,000. We bought it for $19,000,
Wow.
and they were going to just trade it into the dealership
And just get nothing.
and get nothing. And there's a lot of times also where, a lot of people don't pay attention. So when they buy a car, the finance company, the finance manager, they'll just throw on extra warranties and throw on extra plans. And there's a lot of times where we'll let the customer know, hey, you have like $1,000 or $1,500 that you can get back if you return this warranty. And customers are always saying, I never bought that. And we have the access to see, yeah, you did. So a lot of customers are always happy when we help provide extra
Oh,
value.
yeah. That last signing part of the car
they're just
process,
raping you.
You're just adding everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very famous Seinfeld episode. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
With David Puddy, where he's a car dealership guy. Jerry is going to get a new car, and they're basically like, automatic overcharge, rust proofing, just nonsense charges. It's one of the funniest episodes. The whole episode, they're in the car dealership. And it's so true. You never feel dumber than when you're at either your auto mechanic or at a car dealership, because they can say anything.
100%.
When I go to a mechanic and he goes, the router, the router, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just know I'm getting ripped off.
For sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the amount of people that just sign without knowing what they're buying, it's ridiculous. They're just so fixated on their payment. And sometimes, these dealerships are turning like a 4-year loan into like a 7 or 8 year loan. We're seeing a lot of that right now. Wow. And it's wild. They're like, yeah, a $400 payment, that's amazing. But they end up paying, almost double the amount of what the car is worth. And 100%. We see that all the time. Like, it's crazy how many people are still underwater just because they paid all the money in the world these last 2 years. And they bought this warranty and that warranty and stuff that they're never, ever going to use. And I mean, I feel bad. So we always, that's why with below invoice, we're not going to try to push anything down your throat. Even though the dealers will offer us more to sell something, we want people to get a good deal. We want them to feel happy after their purchase.
Yeah, I mean, you never feel good after going to these places. And like, I'll be honest, like the experience was great. I was like, that was fantastic. It was so easy. And like, I didn't feel like I got ripped off. I feel like, I just did a quick search and saw prices and I was like, great, this is better than everything else I saw. And, it felt clean.
Yeah, I might get a bounty on me after this, but dealers, they make all their money on the back end. So all the warranties, all that stuff that they're selling after the purchase of the vehicle, that's where they make their money. They typically don't really make much money on the sale of a vehicle. It's all back end profit.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah, I believe it. All right, man. Amazing. So thecartrackers.com, the car tracker on Instagram, and below invoice on Instagram. Yep. The Instagram is the place to go because you see the deals.
Yeah, for sure.
And then how do the Cathys claim their bounty?
So we're still doing the $100 on top of their appraisal if they mention they're a Cathy or if they mention group chat. Below invoice, we will waive the retainer charge. So we do charge a retainer. It's because a lot of people
it's a wild goose chase.
Yeah, or sometimes they're not really interested. They just want like 4 or 5 quotes, and that takes time for us to like shop something, get the best deal for you, and then we'll have customers say, I'm not ready for like another year. So we do ask for a retainer, but we will waive it for if you mention group chat.
Cool.
It's just so we know like you're serious and you're not just wasting our time or doing some research.
Yeah, window shopping.
Window shopping.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Ali. I'm happy the used car business is booming. That's amazing. I don't know why, but good for you.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but.
All right, let's get back into it. Well, what's not going to be good for car loans? My guy, JP, big Fed chair, Jerome Powell, says today, interest rates are likely to be higher than previously anticipated, putting on the table for a 50 basis point hike.
These guys have no idea what they're doing. In January, which is now 45 days ago, said, we like the data we're seeing. They call it dovish, that they don't think inflation's going to run out of control. 30 days later, inflation print comes hot. 15 days after that, he comes in saying interest rates need to go up even more. This is the same Federal Reserve that in November and December of 2021 said inflation is transitory. They've lost complete credibility to the markets.
That's fine. They're still going to raise the rates. I don't think it's a problem that I think you're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah, but don't say it with authority then. Then say, for these next 30 days, we think inflation's under control. We'll let you know in Feb.
Yeah, well, that doesn't give confidence.
Yeah, but they've
wanted
been
the market
wrong every single time.
Yeah, of course.
And inflation started in the summer of 2021. We had 5% prints then.
I'm not giving them any credit for doing anything right.
You're just saying the effect on the market.
Yeah, what I don't think the Fed understood is that everyone's YOLO. YOLO was not part of the Fed's plan. Historically, when there's threat of recession, high interest rates, people pull back spending.
Yeah, it's so funny though, because in January, everyone was praising the Fed. Oh, these guys nailed it. They nailed it. Look, because we
saw data that spending had cooled. Like you heard him, Q4 was soft. Everyone has said Q4 is soft.
And then they came roaring back.
What the fuck is going on?
What we do know is they don't know anything.
That's fine.
So their speeches should not be taken for the paper it's written on.
The problem is the speech, fine. If they said they're going to raise it by 50 basis a point, that is a problem. All it means is risk assets will continue to suffer.
I think all assets will continue to suffer. I think real estate's the one that's on the verge of collapse. And not single family homes. I'm talking about big development projects.
Yeah.
I sent a tweet in one of our group chats that, a fund manager says he's at the biggest real estate conference of the year. Just want to give you the takeaway. The plane engines are off. The recession is already here for the real estate industry, which is the biggest asset class. The significant driver of labor and materials demand. It is an absolute disaster. And it's an anonymous, very big fund manager that now is going viral on Twitter.
Yeah, we just have to, who's the guy tweeting it? Has he any credibility? Or it's a meme account?
No, he's 363,000 followers.
That's enough?
It's enough for me. The guy blocked me at 300,000 followers. No, but I shared the story on the last pod. Like, big developments are feeling it because these loans were taken 3-4 years ago at negligible rates. And the way real estate is, you just keep kicking the debt can down the road. It doesn't matter if you're a single family home and you got a mortgage and you live in the house for 20 years. The rates don't affect you unless you're adjustable, which isn't the majority of the market, or you have bad credit. But these projects are very different.
So the good news is that those projects that are maybe on the brink don't have an effect on the U.S. consumer. The
None.
U.S. consumer is the driver of this economy.
Right. So those projects, you're 100% right. Like, who cares if a billionaire is no longer a billionaire? Doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be Fortress, Blackstone, name your fund. That's just going to make a fortune off all these projects.
Yeah, they're going to swoop in, save them, make some money, and then so if you think about it, if a guy worth $1 billion is now worth $5 million, that's better than 1 million Americans losing.
Yeah. Did you see the back and forth with Elizabeth Warren and James Powell today?
No.
She was like, how do you justify keep raising rates and 2 million people have fewer jobs? 2 million fewer jobs in the economy. Like, you're going to that's what the cause and effect is going to be. You keep raising it. He had no answer. Because the average the average person's the one that gets screwed as he keeps raising rates.
Yeah.
Who cares about growth stocks, risky assets?
So someone DM'd me this and said the Shaq rule applies to credit cards too.
Oh, my rule?
Yeah. The Shaq, the gas Shaq rule?
Love it.
And he was saying that his friends are all YOLOing, traveling, spending. And they're like, if you spend, who cares about the interest rates? I'm going to pay $100 a month on my credit card. That's it. That's all I know. Yeah. I spend $100. I don't know what else is happening. That's how you feel. Is your credit card payments up? No. You're paying $100 and that's it.
Yeah. And as long as you can keep paying the minimum spend, you're fine.
Yeah. Who cares? No, you don't actually look at that balance.
Shaq basically has created this economy.
Shaqonomics.
Shaq's a genius, in my opinion.
He might be the future of the economy. You just spend what you can and don't worry about the rest of it. That's it.
You've heard his Google story, right?
Yeah.
For people who don't know, he was, I think, at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. This is the late 90s or early 2000s, because I think, when did Google go public?
Probably then.
2000. No, they went public 2003 or 4, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. And he was at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. He's at the bar having a drink, and he overhears, I don't know if it was Sergey and Larry, but he overhears someone talking about Google. And he's like, oh my God, this is the future. And he's Shaq. He's, the most famous star in LA at the time, right? He just leans over and is like, how do I get a piece of it? So he's a pre-IPO Google investor. Shaq's a genius.
Yeah. He's got a nose for money. And he's got good economic theory.
Yeah.
You got $100?
He explained the economy.
Yeah.
He explained everything that Jay Powell can't explain.
Yeah.
That no one in the Fed can explain.
Occam.
Yeah. The obvious, I can make my minimum payment to continue to live the exact same life the next month.
Yeah. You got a razor today? Got a window? Got anything?
I do. Hanlon's razor.
Hanlon. Okay.
Hanlon's razor is, people aren't evil, just stupid.
I agree with that. Who's Hanlon?
I don't know. I don't know who Malcolm is either.
He's just a dummy, but did some bad things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's courtesy of Dude Bro, Anthony, who listens to the pod.
Could you say SBF is a Hanlon guy?
I think he's Hanlon.
He's
He's
not
just a
evil.
moron.
Yeah. He just kept pushing the envelope and people allowed him to.
He's a big Hanlon guy.
Yeah. That's his argument in case. I'm a Hanlon Razors guy.
What if he gets acquitted on Hanlon's?
Yeah.
That's his defense.
Yeah. The guy's an idiot. Jurors, ladies and gentlemen, this guy is not an evil genius. Look at him.
He's just an idiot.
He's just an idiot. You're an idiot. He's an idiot. Let him free.
Who else can you apply Hanlon's to? That's a really good one.
Definitely not Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, he was just evil.
Because he was actually, he made money in Wall Street before he knew. Who else? Elizabeth Holmes? No.
She could just be stupid. That she kept getting positive reinforcements by investors thinking that,
She was smart.
yes, so it's possible.
Okay. All right, that's a good one. I like it. Let's get back into the episode of normal news. Meta is coming back. This new Zuck is just on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Rumor is they're going to cut more jobs.
Yep.
This job cut in Silicon Valley is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's the layoffs. What we're really seeing is affecting just one industry, which, in the grand scheme of market cap and valuation, is a massive part of the economy. But in terms of number of employees, it's nothing.
And consumer spend, nothing.
Nothing.
Doesn't matter. And I actually caught the last episode of All In the other day, and they were talking about headcount at a lot of these companies. And it's crazy how, like, basically the tide has turned on, like, big tech and staffing, like basically saying that there isn't one large technology company that is efficient in terms of staffing.
They're all bloated.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, what there's maybe 1 million jobs that still need to be cut if you take across all of large tech.
Like if you include Google,
Oracle, Salesforce,
yep.
you know, each one of these companies,
Microsoft.
6 figures of employees.
And the thing is, like, what's different than a Walmart or a Target, the amount of savings you have when you cut 50,000 employees because they're all, you know, mid 6-figure employees with stock-based compensation, almost $1 million a year.
What is this? I was reading that stock-based compensation, or the tax per Stripe, is $3.5 billion on stock-based compensation. So they have
it's a tax event.
Stripe is really a fumble.
Stripe, I've never seen a company that, at least, I mean, not that old, but old enough to follow this stuff, go from like
being the next Google to like,
are they even going to go public, and at what
Yeah.
valuation?
because if they have to pay a $3.5 billion tax
They're
bill,
raising money right
yeah,
now
to pay for that, right?
to
I
pay
was saying-
for it, yeah. And like, what's going to happen whenever they go public? So they're raising money at a $60 billion valuation.
I think 50. They're saying now.
50 to 60, I think the information reported. If that thing goes public, it's worth $15 billion in like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, probably. I don't know the numbers, so
I'm just saying, it's just going to be a straight down arrow.
yeah. Who's going to
People-
hold on to that, given what you know about the market now?
Given what you know happened to every single other company that went public.
Yeah,
Their big mistake is you should have gone public at 100 billion, got to 300, and you would have settled at 80.
and you'd be chilling like Uber.
Yeah.
Uber's still 60 billion.
$67 billion company still.
Yeah.
Timing these things are so difficult.
What I think the thing I've learned is you time it when you feel invincible. That's when you get out, because
We got an amazing tidbit. Obviously, we can't say the name, from a billionaire.
yeah.
And he got this information from another billionaire saying the right time to sell is any asset, doesn't matter what you own, when it's contrarian to not sell it.
Yeah.
So when it's so obvious to hold it,
Yeah.
that's actually the time to sell the asset.
Yeah.
Whether you're a business owner, now we know as a stock owner, anything.
Yeah. When it's too good to be true, you get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's very...
That was the most insightful thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, and that's old school thinking, right? Like the frenzy of the last couple of years, the right answer is we should have all dumped everything.
2021, when everything seemed too good to be true, was the right time to dump.
Yeah. You can't have FOMO. That's the thing. You're going to leave
the
money
thing,
on the
though.
table.
Here's the thing. Like, this is the problem with the mindset, though. If you made money in a risk asset in 2021, it's not like you would change the mindset to just be like, okay, I'm just going to do the Vanguard ETF. Everyone, like human psychology, you probably go into a separate risky asset and you would have lost the money either way.
Yeah.
And you would have paid taxes. I think it's really tough.
Yeah,
to just
that's
change
why
the mindset.
the top richest people, they know this psychology and they play into it. I'm going to take my chips off the table. I'll let you morons lose all your money.
Remember my moron option trade I wanted to do in November 2021?
Yeah. Long DoorDash. The company's a disaster.
I didn't say this on the pod, so I don't have to take the L on it.
Yeah.
But I looked into all these long dated options. I didn't do it, but it would have been worthless in 30 days.
Yeah. It
was a 3-year option trade. It would have been worthless by mid-January.
Oh my God. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, I think the key will be we're going to... such an important lesson. Like, it was an amazing time the last couple of years to make money and retain money, or make money and lose everything, which is basically what happened to most people. And it's going to happen again in the next decade.
Yeah, there'll be another bull run.
And you've got to sell when you made your money.
I mean, I know Jay Powell is talking, the rates are coming down next year. We know that. I think everyone knows that. This year, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. I told you it was going to be fucking ripping until May.
I was wrong. I'll take the L on that. But rates aren't coming down in 2023.
Yeah.
The market knows it. Bonds are trading like that. You look at the 10-year, you look at all these like indicators. And next year, they'll cut rates. Markets will rip. That's the time you start edging out of the pool, get back onto the beach.
Yeah. I think the thing with that is...
Because this happened in 2018, because it only happened to one industry, which is tech. Tech hit like a total fall off a cliff because the Fed started raising rates. So it happened again. It's going to happen the next time. So once the Fed starts cutting rates, that's the time to get out of risk assets.
Yeah.
Because then there's going to be an event where they have to raise rates.
Yeah.
And then all the risk assets will fall off a cliff.
Yeah. I think the key is just timing. Like how much longer will the Fed keep raising rates? And then at what point do we have to experience a recession for the Fed to cut interest rates? But if we don't ever do that,
you just keep rates and then they just crater the middle and lower class.
Yeah.
They're going to crater it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the stock market, while risk assets are down, is still holding up despite all this hawkish Fed talk.
Yeah.
So what that tells you is the money on the sidelines, which is the big mutual funds and, the massive, massive capital allocators, is that they're like, yeah, the Fed's eventually going to stop this rhetoric. We have nowhere else to put money.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what's happening now.
Because you look at the market, it still isn't down that much.
I mean,
it's like up and down. Like in a typical day last year, if the Fed came out and said what they said today, Dow would be down 1,000 points.
Yeah, it's fair. So yeah, I mean, if you look at, I'm just looking at a number of different stocks I follow.
I mean, S&P still hovering around 4,000. People were calling for S&P 3,200 this year. That's not happening.
No, but let's see. Year to date, they're still up. S&P. Yeah, it's still. I mean, it's held pretty strong. Given it's like not good.
Given
news.
how hawkish the Fed has been, the market really hasn't.
Yeah.
Like shit the bed.
All right. Well, if you're looking for a stock that I think might be basically the next, this is not financial advice, by the way, could be the next Monster energy drink. You ready for this?
What do you got?
WeightWatchers.
I like it. I know where you're going with it.
Unbelievable trade here that happened today. WeightWatcher international stock surged after the company said it agreed to buy Sequence, a telehealth platform that helps treat obesity. Let's just cut to the chase. This telehealth company prescribes Ozempic.
Yep.
And you know how I feel about Ozempic.
We've been the earliest public people on these drugs. We need to do our victory lap. This is the future. It's the new Viagra.
Yeah.
It's the biggest cash grab we're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years.
I mean, the thing is,
I would be long any one of these companies over every tech company over everything.
yeah.
It's free cash flow.
Yeah. And, you know, today, like unless you have like severe diabetes, I don't think insurance covers it. So, but if you actually lose weight, it's just, we've learned you're going to spend the money. And obesity is such a, what was the percentage of Americans that
over 50% in like the next couple years are going to be obese.
Yeah. And I mean, we know this drug works. We've seen it. This stock is up 80% today.
And it was
By the
only
way, Weight Watchers market cap is only $480 million.
And it was only $132 million purchase.
And by the way, there's like GLP startups that are worth $200 million that do nothing. Nothing. Weight Watchers is a household name. You go to watch your weight. You get Ozempic from them.
Yeah. I mean, this is a no-brainer. I think it's like the biggest cash grab.
Yeah.
GLP-4 is what I heard the hot stuff is.
Okay, well, I'm sure Weight Watchers will be dishing that out.
So
you need to have the distribution and the marketing. So they already have it. They have America's attention.
What's interesting is, so Apurva, who started Instacart, has a company that is in the GLP drug space. And, you know, it's funded by all the tier one investors. And I wonder if his distribution is going to be his old company, Instacart.
Hey, we saw you just ordered Ruffles. Here's some Ozempic with your fucking Ruffles.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, because the one thing about this race that's happening, you have to acquire customers, right? Because it's like any other business. Weight Watchers has the customers. They're coming into their stores.
Yeah, it's the food delivery services know what people are eating.
Yeah.
And from our close friend who ran Postmates, pizza and burgers.
Yeah.
That's all everyone's eating.
Yeah. Just drop in a little ad for Ozempic while you're at it. Do you want to keep eating these pizza and burgers?
Yeah, have one slice instead of 6.
Yeah.
Have a little Ozempic.
Yeah.
If that's what it does, which is crush your appetite, but you still got to eat that one slice, wouldn't you rather have that?
Yeah, I'd rather, instead of have 5 slices of pizza, have 1 and still eat pizza.
And feel like satisfied.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
As opposed to like a kale salad with no dressing.
Yeah. That's miserable. Great. I'm bullish on Weight Watchers. I think it's a genius purchase.
Yeah.
It now
Didn't
just
they get a lift during the pandemic? Who was it? Oprah or who? Someone.
Oprah made a stake in the company. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that was pre-pandemic.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we know that this is. I forgot. I saw the number of what the revenue of these drugs did last year. It was like just under $1 billion.
Yeah.
What's it going to do? 10 billion this year?
20.
Yeah, it does. It's endless.
It'll be 100 billion soon.
Yeah. I mean, I got a DM from a friend who lives in Cairo and said every rich woman in Cairo is on it.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is crazy.
And we talked about it first.
Yes.
And Kim, the Kardashian, no, I don't know if it's Kim.
Chloe.
One of the Kardashians should be worth 100 billion.
I mean, if
That's
they
the
just
only reason it got mainstream.
It's
It was
Chloe.
them.
yes,
It leaked in like the gossip
Yeah.
mags, and then rich people started taking it in Beverly Hills,
yeah,
and then it trickled down.
Yeah.
To Cairo.
yeah. And now drug companies are going to figure out how to make it affordable because they can.
Of course.
And then
Yeah, because if you could sell 100 billion at, 60% profit versus 40 billion at 90% profit, what would you rather do?
Yeah. And then you got to treat all the side effects. That'll be a whole nother business.
Yeah, that'll whole nother
industry. Ozempic clinics, the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be at CVS in the next 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be over the counter.
Yeah.
It'll be light like Hims. Do that virtual. And
Yeah,
you get whatever.
Yeah. What are you losing your hair? Here you go. You got erectile dysfunction. I mean, we're getting to the point where they're just going to give you whatever you want when you ask for it. So,
yeah, totally.
Unbelievable. All right. Last but certainly not least, we talked about this last week. Creed 3, the directorial debut of Michael B. Jordan. We saw that the budget for the film was $60 million. We were like, what could it open at? Because it was a little internal bet with our friends. I said $25 million domestically. It did $58 million domestically, $100 million globally. Huge win for him and Amazon Studios. And it looks like it's going to be like, now they can go rip 5 more of these.
Yeah, not only that, it's basically Michael B. Jordan is Hollywood royalty now.
Yeah.
You do a movie that did $100 million the first weekend that's not a Marvel.
Yeah.
That's not, Star Wars.
And it's low budget. $60 million for, I mean, I don't know anything about Hollywood, but like $60 million feels light.
No, it's considered it's in the weird in between where you have the Jason Blum movies, which are like $20 million and then they all crush. And then you have this Marvel world and Star Wars, which is hundreds of millions of dollars. So everyone was very curious, like, can you still, in this day and age, in the movie business, make a movie that's still very expensive, and can it generate returns without, the IP of all these other, characters?
I mean, it is from a heritage of the Rocky franchise,
Yeah,
which is
but I would think the average age of the viewer probably hasn't seen Rocky.
You think so?
If you're going to Creed, you're probably a Michael B. Jordan fan, and you're probably 25.
I want to know that stat.
I don't know it. I mean, it's one of the few movies I actually didn't go to the theaters yet to see.
Yeah.
Because normally we just go. So I'll report back.
Okay.
But I don't know. We're of the last age group where we would have watched Rocky. 40 and up.
Yeah, it's definitely that demo.
Like, I don't think a 30-year-old's watching Rocky.
But I think they know what it is. You know what Rocky is.
But it's
Ari,
great.
do you know what Rocky is?
Yes.
Have you seen the movie?
Of course.
Okay.
All of them?
Yes.
Like, the Russian from Rocky 4.
No. But
So you haven't seen it. That's the most famous one.
But I've seen them.
The
I've
first
seen the
one's the
films.
most famous.
Yeah.
You know who Apollo Creed is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like running up the steps, like you can't miss that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you also do dine with 6-year-olds, so
Yeah,
it's not
you're
surprising.
the demo. All right. Well, congratulations.
But he's the most bankable star in Hollywood at this point, right? Just did $100 million debut.
I think like the stat was like Scarlett Johansson or someone like that. I feel like that's it's like I think she is like one of the most successful stars.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most
The
bankable.
new age. Yeah. I mean, otherwise it's The Rock, Kevin Hart.
Yeah. And forget all the Marvel because it has nothing to do who the star is.
Yeah, it could
They're
be
all gonna
anybody.
do
Yeah.
gangbusters. Because this is specific Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He carried the movie, he's the star, and he directed it.
Yeah. He must make so much money. Because if you're like the producer, the director, and he's making some sort of crazy back end, I bet you if the movie, when it's all said and done, does 200 million, I know international distribution don't make as much money, but like even domestically, if it does 100, he probably cleared $20 million
On the first weekend.
Not on the first weekend, but on the back end.
I think he's going to make more than 20 on this. This movie's going to do 400 or 500 million, right?
No.
When it's all said and done.
No. It's not going to do more business this weekend. It's going to drop off a cliff. That's how it works.
We'll see. See where if we see a news article, Michael B. Jordan buys $50 million house.
Well, yeah, if he buys a $50 million house, then yes, he made some ungodly amount of money.
Before we end, there's a lot of Chris Rock hate
Yeah.
on Twitter.
A lot.
since we talked about the special on Sunday, and I don't get it. They say, "Oh, he was just angry. He went too far." I didn't think.
I mean, Will Smith punched him in the face.
Yeah,
That's gone too far. That I would.
And it's really white guys on Twitter saying it.
That he went too far.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing.
And rich white guys.
No matter what happens in life, there's always people playing the other side. Whether it's right or wrong, people play the other side. So we just live in that society. We pick a topic, I'll find people that counter everything. And it's just...
But if you're a rich white guy of success, you go on Twitter to say Chris Rock went too far.
Who's a rich white guy that said that? Okay. And what did he say?
Bleep that out. All right.
We'll share with you in the Discord what the name was.
Yeah, the name was. Said he responded to our close friend who said it was amazing and said he went too far. All it looked like was he's angry and complaining about society. And I watched the special. He turned what was, from a public perspective, forget his personal life, the most traumatizing moment of his public life.
It was embarrassing for him.
Yeah, he got on, an international audience saw him get slapped in the face by a generational talent.
Yeah.
And he took it. He carried on the show.
Yeah.
And
he kept quiet for a year.
And he made it funny when he retold the story.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, like he said on his special, he didn't go on Oprah or Gail and start crying.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of celebrities would have done.
Yeah.
Instead, he made it into comedy the week of the Oscars.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith actually did a whole podcast on the special.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable.
Really?
He's the greatest orator of all time.
What did he say?
He basically said everything was warranted that Chris Rock said.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. himself said, I wouldn't have handled it like that. There would have been cops involved. Yeah. And I would have lost my shit if I got slapped on stage.
Yeah. Well, Chris Rock also is a tiny dude.
Yeah, but
I don't think he stood a chance. He's Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no, but my point is, Stephen A. Smith was like, he handled it with as much grace as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And he protected his career.
Yeah.
And he did this special, and everything he said was warranted. Everything was on the table. He was allowed to say all of it.
Yeah. I agree. And look, he's still a comedian at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's frankly, it was a funny thing that happened, and he just made it funnier. Right?
Yeah.
And he was like,
and he could have been played victimhood, which he didn't.
Yeah.
He just made it funny.
Yeah. Just made it funny, and he moved on, and you should just enjoy it because it was a funny special.
How does the Smith family recover from this? We didn't get to that part.
They'll be fine. Everyone's fine.
Everyone's fine.
You could do anything. You said Elizabeth Holmes and funding when she comes out.
Yeah, she will.
So if she doesn't get funding, Will Smith is fine. Oh, look, at home, it's a disaster.
I would think so.
But on the surface level,
that line was so good too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, their home life. They chose to live this life.
Yeah, and Stephen A. was like, because Stephen A. Smith, he is the face of ESPN, effectively, face of sports and NBA.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah,
and he always says he knows everything what every athlete's doing privately, and he doesn't talk about any of it.
Yep.
Because he's like, whatever you do in your personal life, it's your business. But this family decided to make it everyone else's drama, that they wanted to make a show about it when they could have just kept it quiet and dealt with it privately. It's fair game if it's out there.
Yeah. Well, I think it was already out, so they were like, we might as well take advantage of it.
And then if you get roasted in a comedy show, sorry.
Yeah, it happens. Oscars are this week.
Yeah, a lot of hoopla in the city.
I mean, where have you been? It's ever since we've been fucking born. It's the biggest thing in the city. Always been the biggest thing.
Yeah, and we were talking about it yesterday. Like, rich people love the Oscars
because it's
so many people are coming into town.
Yeah, because it's Hollywood. I don't care what anyone says. More than money, fame is more important in culture.
Yeah, I mean, they've shut down Crescent and Santa Monica for a full week and a half.
Yeah,
for the Vanity Fair party that they're building.
For Elton John's party, the park is closed for 2 weeks. The West Hollywood Park, every single year for how many decades?
San Vicente and Santa Monica, that park
is closed.
Is that where he does it?
Every year he's been doing it.
I didn't know that's where it is.
And it's always closed, and it takes weeks to set up, weeks to tear down. It's the biggest thing. Like Hollywood, Oscars, the city is packed with people.
I can't imagine what room rates are this week. Must be insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it used to be way more insane in previous years. But I think the point is, like, no matter what anyone says, forget the actual show. Hollywood is so powerful. So why are the richest people on earth in town? Because they want to be around that. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, some of the most successful people I know who have nothing to do with the movie industry are coming to town this week.
Yeah. It's Hollywood.
So I think that's actually interesting from a cultural perspective because the ratings are going to be terrible. We already know that. So rich people really care about it, at least the cultural part of it, the events, the Vanity Fair party, and all these. There's a million things going on this week.
Yeah, tons of parties.
And they're very high end.
Yeah.
Everything's like
luxury.
But the ratings are going to suck.
Yeah.
So they need to. It's interesting.
It's the same problem with the NBA. NBA has unlimited amounts of money. The businesses are still making money. Everyone's printing money. Hollywood, everyone's printing money still. The problem is, if you look at it from a long-term standpoint, NBA has lost its fans. The Oscars and a lot of movies have lost their fans. And that's because both those organizations chose to run their a little bit more left-leaning and alienated a bunch of people that now think, like, most conservative people will not watch the NBA. Most conservative people will not watch the Oscars. Probably don't even turn on movies with certain stars on it because of how they've been outspoken. That is a business decision they all made, and the consumers has reacted to that, and you have to be comfortable with that. You either have to like pander to them and get them back on track, or you just have to accept that you've lost that fan base.
Definitely. The NBA has a massive problem. Talked about it at length. I mean, I don't know if you saw Russell Westbrook kick out those two fans yesterday.
Terrible.
They were just saying Westbrook.
Yeah.
Karen Westbrook. That's what they called him.
Good name.
And they kept saying, shoot it. You're an NBA player.
They didn't curse, nothing.
No racial slurs. No any type of slur.
Yeah.
And he got them kicked out, and it went viral. And the NBA has a massive problem. Like, the players have abused the power that they have, and they're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Next collective bargaining, we're going to have a lockout.
Yeah, and I think that's similar to Hollywood with the Oscars. They've paid for it. They alienated conservative people. Like, nobody who's conservative wants to hear a bunch of political shit that they're not aligned with at time and entertainment. Like, I'm kind of the view of, like, if you want to go down that route, then you have to be comfortable with the consequences.
I mean, okay, courtside ticket, it was in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So let's assume it's a couple grand.
Yeah, easily.
You can yell, shoot it.
You should be able to yell whatever you want. Like, as long as it's not a racial slur, I have no problem
You should be able to say whatever you want as long as it's not a racial slur.
Yeah. What's the big deal?
I mean, you're in an arena with 18,000 people screaming.
Can you imagine what fans said in the 90s and that Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan?
Oh my God.
Probably crazy. Yeah, look, I think in general.
And then you see the John Morant stuff.
Yeah.
Which has been trending the whole.
That at least is kind of interesting to me. Because he's pretending to be a gangster.
Yeah.
And he's obviously.
I think it's way worse than what's being reported.
Well, all right. Well, we're not a basketball podcast, so we'll stay tuned for the entertainment. All right, everyone. We will see you back here on Thursday and wrap up the week. Talk soon.